Eve is a hard game where quick and easy access to information can make or break your success in any given activity. So, how do we make sure that we have that good information? Well, the answer is really quite simple: by having a fantastic layout. In this video, I will be showing you two main things. First, my personal layout and why I've set it up the way that I have, and then second, how you can copy a layout from any one of your characters to another one of your characters, or in this case, because I'm sharing, copy my layout easily to any of your characters. But before we dive into the game, what do I even mean by layout? Well, it's a combination of not only your overview settings and your filters and all that good stuff, but also the general windows, sizes, positions, and settings of all of your probe scanners and D-scan, things like that. All right, with that out of the way, it's time to get into the game and see what I see on a daily basis. So here, we're in Jita. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and talk about the layout. So starting with the overview stuff, we have my travel box. So this nice little box has a bunch of the stargates and places you can dock, things that you might want to warp to. Then a tab for warp out. This just has a bunch of moons and planets and all that good stuff you might want to escape from a combat situation from, and just choose a random warp out, and that will do you just fine. We also have D-scan, just to, if you see something on D-scan and want to see it in an overview, you can easily do that. And then lastly, we have all, which just shows everything. Maybe something is missing for some reason, you can't figure it out, but you want to be able to find it on your overview. It's in the All tab. Next, let's go ahead and talk about the specialty tabs. So we have about 7 specialty tabs here. We have drones, because, drones can be really annoying. A bunch of hobgoblins are near me right now. We have links ships, so this will show all of the T2 ships. That's something important to say, is that all of these are going to be T2 variants of the problem ship, because just how overview settings work, they're not so discrete that you can't select Blackbird to be E-War. It's kind of annoying, but I guess a Blackbird's not that big of a problem compared to a Kitsune, right? I don't know. But here, you're going to see all the Lynx ships, so a bunch of the command destroyers and command ships, orcas even, things that can do Lynx. Next is E-War, all of your super nasty E-War ships, except for the T1s, but Falcons, Curses, things like that. Not Ashimus, technically Ashimu's like a T1 ship. I know. You just got to know these things, but it's still very helpful. Next, we have Bubble Jump. So this is going to show all of your ships that can either bubble you or jump you from where you are to where you don't want to be. So it's good to know that they're on grid and where they're at and how fast they're going towards you and what. Next, you have Fast Tackle. This is going to be your little frigates. I think it's just interceptors and assault frigs in this box right here. But, say a Hawk shows up or a Stiletto shows up, you're going to want to know that they're there and that they might be coming to tackle you. So if you're in a ship that doesn't want to get tackled, it's good to be aware that they're there. Next, we have Enemy Logi. So this is just, it's good to know where the deacons and the basilisks are and the guardians are. How many there are, that is very important to quickly say, oh, they have 3 guardians. Now I know how much we need to DPS hit through them for that many guardians or whatnot. And then lastly, we have the friendlies tab. This is just a nice little tab that shows all of your friendlies that are on grid. It's good to know where your friends are and how many friends you have, what ships they're flying, what their names are. So now that we've talked about the specialty tabs, let's talk about I'm going to call it the on-grid tab, or the on-grid window, I should say. We have things like Tidy PvP. This is going to be your main PvP tab and it will show all of the ships that are not being shown on the specialty tabs. Next, we have a loot tab. If you want to go for those cargo containers, you now know where they are. An Explo mining tab will have enemy ships as well, but it will also have things related to Explo and mining. PvE tab will have PvE related things, and then all ships PvP is just, it's going to not worry about what is all on these things. It's just going to show you all of the ships, which can be helpful for, various situations. Next, let's talk about the D-scan window. It's important to have your D-scan window up on your layout somewhere pretty much at all times, because D-scan is very important. You got to know who's around you, what they're doing, what's going on. With my layout, I have a few different D-scan options. I have basic, which is the standard, extra, which shows basically like everything that you might want to know about, and then ships. If you only are interested in what ships are around you, which can be pretty important, you can just use that filter. Speaking of filters, let's go ahead and go back to the settings here. If you notice, one of your overview windows has this square bracket icon on it. That is going to be the window that determines your bracket visibility. So right now we have this active tab of the travel tab. You can right click it, go to bracket filter, custom filters, and I have 3 bracket custom filters. I have the standard one, and then the one with minus Rex, and one with plus drones. Moving on, let's talk about the selected item window. So first, let's go ahead and select a bustard, for example, and we can move up here. And as a wormholer, it's actually very important to very quickly be able to get someone's name and ship if they're going to try and like cloak or warp away or whatnot, or maybe just catch a glimpse of them. The way I like to do it is that I use this selected item. So we collect this slasher, we click and hold this ship, and as soon as we've done that, we have it. We have that information. We can go ahead and move it over to our local in this case. And now we know Sal Gossip is in a slasher, and we can relay information like what wormhole he's in, where he's heading, and it just helps that little bit of information get a little bit faster, and it's good to have. And the local box is a good place to put it for me as a wormholer. I never post it in local, but you know, it's a very easy, like, quick way to just quickly put it up there, especially if there's multiple people that I want to do it. Next is something I'm a little bit on the fence about, but you know, I'm keeping it for now. And that is, I am hiding my neocom. So we got to move our mouse way over here to have it come up again. And then we have access to all of our neocom. It temporarily moves all of our like D-scan windows a little bit to the side. Moves them back when it goes away. But, you know, if you like it, you can use it. It gives you a little bit more space. If you don't like it, you can get rid of it. You can just right-click the hamburger menu here on the top left, turn auto hide on or off, no problem there. Something I do like, however, more than the neocom thing, is that you will notice on the borders of my screen, I have this like 2 centimeter border edge, and that lets me see all of these goodies over here on the sidelines. And I can warp to all of these gates. I can see that to my right is a lot of like stuff. So if I want to start, if I'm in a combat situation, I can quickly gaze around my area, see that there's a lot of stuff off to my right, and maybe start aligning off to like this little area here. And if you don't put that little border, it just blocks it. So more information, more better. That's why the little border exists, so that you can see all of those icons. Very helpful and handy, and I highly recommend it. And then next is something maybe not just for me, but as you can see, this is a large area here up here, and that is because I am a multi-boxer. So I like to put a lot of my multi-box clients from Evo Preview up here, and then I can easily just be able to see all of them, quickly go between them and do what I need to do, no problem. And then lastly, the talk about compact versus non-compact windows. For me, I like to have my travel and my grid window, as well as my friendlies, to be non-compact. I like the bigger font, I like the spacing, it's just a personal preference thing, but then for all of these specialized windows, I have them as the smaller compact version, and that's just because I can get more information here. And that's pretty much my overview. A few more things to talk about with my overview is down here I have this triple window, which is my inventory, my fleet window, and my probe scanner. I personally find that I don't really need these open at the same time. If you do, maybe you can move it if you want, but I just find that this is a nice little area to cover all of those bases. Moving on, we have our locations little area. Again, this is just a nice little area for it. It has all of our bookmark locations. Wormholing, it's very important to like always have this up. If you're not a wormholer, it's maybe less important, but still probably pretty good to have up anyways. And then lastly, we have, generally covered by my lovely face, we have my chat windows. There's a bunch of chat stuff here. And then we have drones. If you are flying a ship with drones, they will show up here. I have my watch list kind of show up here whenever I have a watch list. And yeah, I hope you like my layout, because if you do, you can have it as we talk about how to get in this next section. So to get any layout, it's really quite simple. It's kind of a two-part process though. So first is going to be your overview setting, and second is going to be a file, which is a character layout settings YAML file. Let's go ahead and hop back into the game, and I'm going to go through doing it for getting my layout. But if you want, say, your own layout just on a different character, same process, just do it with the stuff that you got. If we go into the game here, step one, let's pretend that I don't have this layout. I have some other random layout and I want to get here. So step one is you're going to go to your overview settings here, open overview settings, and you're going to go to the miscellaneous tab, and you're going to hit reset all settings. So hit yes there, and then you're going to have a basic overview settings here. From that, you're going to go over to this chat channel, which is nth+1. And once you're in that channel, you can go ahead and hit the brackets and dscan item. This will give you the filters just for my brackets and dscan. And then you hit nth's overview and you hit yes. And then this will give you everything else. You will see right now, wherever you have it set up, it will just not look correct. Don't worry, that's fine. Leave it here for now. From here, we can go ahead and hit escape and quit the game. Now, once the game is completely closed, we're going to navigate to a specific file path. If you're on Mac or Linux or whatnot, I can't really help you, but if you're on Windows, it's going to be this PC, and then you're going to go to whatever drive has your user folder, generally your C drive. You're going to go to your users folder. You're going to go to whatever name you have there. It's going to be different for you. And here, you want to go to app data. A little caveat, app data is a hidden folder. You probably have it viewable, but in case you don't, you can go ahead and go up to view and then hidden files or hidden items. Click this so it shows. And then you can go to app data. From here, you go to local, CCP, EVE, and here you want to choose the file folder that has Tranquility as the last part of it. So it has program file, EVE Online, TQ, Tranquility. And then you go to settings, probably default. It's possible that you have multiple settings folders, but go ahead and go to default for us. And then we're going to sort by date modified. So because we just closed down our last character, it is going to be the most recently modified one. And there are two files here. There's the core user file and the core character file. The core user file talks about your escape, like when you hit escape button, those kinds of settings, as well as a few other settings, but don't worry about it. If you want to copy those settings over to another one, you just do the same thing. It works totally fine. But we are going to be talking about the core character file. So this is very specifically for the character of I was on Pilgrim 1. So this number here corresponds to that character. This number is very important because we have another file over here on our desktop. We've downloaded it. This is going to be the file that I give to you down in the description below. You can download this file and it will get my layout. So here we're going to go ahead and it's very important also. This is very important. Make a backup. I know it's going to work out fine, but make a backup. It's just proper procedure. One last thing that I did forget to mention, and this is why you made a backup hopefully, is that when you do change this file over, it is going to reset things like the input and output locations for your industry, as well as your auto reload settings, like an Ansil. It's not going to save that setting, so do be aware and try not to get your ship killed just because you reset a bunch of settings. So here, we're going to go ahead and move this over to our desktop, and then we're going to move our core character, your number here, to our folder. And then we are going to rename, you can hit the F2 button on your keyboard, to core character, your number, and whatever your number happens to be. Ours is 21178281881. And it's easy as that. We can go ahead and launch EVE again. We're almost done, but we have one more thing to do, which is make our overview look correct. Right now, it doesn't look super correct, but it knows some things. I don't know how these files know these things, but it's pretty simple from here. I've tested it on a different computer and different things, so hopefully it works for you. What you want to do is go to Fast Tackle first, and you want to go to Move Tab to New Window. And then you want to go to Bubble Jump, and you go Move Tab to New Window. And these should go correctly where they're supposed to go. From there, the third one, this one's important. The third one's important. You go to Tidy PVP. You move tab to a new window because that's going to be your next big window. From here, you just go from left to right and put the tabs where they should go. Workout can stay where it is, that's fine. Eor, move to a new tab. Links, move to a new tab. Logi, move to a new tab. Loot, move to the on-grid tab. Move to on-grid tab. Move this on-grid tab. Drones gets a new tab. New window rather. Friendly gets a new window. Vscan stays here. All ships PvP goes to on-grid, and it all stays there. Perfect. And it's simple as that. You now have my layout and my overview settings and are going to win EVE. And one last thing before I go is that if you have a lot of accounts, if you're a multi-boxer, and want to set them all up quickly with a bunch of layout and settings, there is a super awesome app which you can find about in this video here. And if you already know about that or have watched that video, go ahead and watch whatever YouTube suggests. See you next time.